And we're live.
Yeah, it's so weird. I was watching, this was years and years ago. I was watching like on the military channel, if that's even still a thing. It was like this Navy SEAL documentary showing all the nonsense, all the shit they have to go through. And it was like just doing sit-ups in the surf with a log over your head with all your buddies. And so every time you sit up, it's just right in your face. Right. And then the drill instructor's like, all right, it's been 2 hours of that. You have earned your 5-minute standing nap. And then they all walk up onto the beach and they're just standing in formation. And you see everybody just like standing there, like sleeping like birds, like almost every few seconds having to make sure they don't fall over. Oh, that 100%. Looks terrible. That's like torture. But I guess they need to make sure you can deal with that kind of shit before they just let you start running around over there.
Do you ever think about SEALs, Taylor? Like how you do in that school? Is it you put yourself in there and think, I do well at this and poorly at that?
No, they would look at me and be like, oh, the wing stop is 3 doors down. if I was going to sign up for the fucking... No, I don't have the mental or the physical toughness to be a Navy SEAL. Like, that's like...
You know what, though? To be honest, a lot of the SEALs that I met overseas were dudes that I never in a million years would have thought they were SEALs. I remember showing up to bases and thinking, like, who are these pussies? And that's Navy SEAls. And then you see them start, like, working out and operating and shit, and you're like, God damn, like, I'm staying away from that.
Yeah. Did you ever consider trying that, going into the SEALs?
So that was actually my lifelong dream, was to become a Navy SEAL. And when I first joined, I don't know. I wanted to go to the Marine Corps route and just kind of see where I was at, you know, in the eliteness there. And after that, I was just kind of over it. I was like, nah, this isn't for me. But I personally don't think I would have been able to make it through Buds.
Is that what it's called?
What would be your stopping point? Like, what's hard about Buds for you
now?
Or peak you?
At this point, I think it's just a mind thing. Like, I hate getting yelled at. I'm a grown ass man. You know, I've already served my country. I've already done all this. Like, so I have a hard time when people yell at me and try to intimidate me, because it's like, dude, you're a man before you are anything. So if you want to take care of this man to man, we can do that.
Mm-hmm. The part that always looked the scariest to me of the Navy SEALs, I guess you said Buds.
BUDS.
Oh, yep. Like, was when they just hold you underwater and they drown you, and then they'll like do it again if you don't drown correctly. And it just looks terrible.
I've watched a lot of that training like recently. There's this YouTube channel where there's an Estonian soldier, and he watches stuff about the American military, and he sort of reacts to it with his based on his background as an Estonian rifleman. And he was watching Bud's training, and he's like, these are the real guys. Like, and they're showing this clip, and they're treading water, and the water's very cold. They're very cold, and the drill sergeant or whatever is in a boat. Of course, he's not treading water. And don't think treading water in a fucking swimming pool or just offshore. They're out in the water.
With waves and shit.
Yeah, and he's treading this water, and he's been treading it. And this isn't like he got a nice night's sleep last night and a hot meal, and then today he had to tread some water. It's like day 8 or something. It's hell week or whatever. And he's out there, and his chin is quivering from the shivering, and he's like, my legs are seizing up. I can't kick anymore. And he's like, oh, really? Well, use your arms.
That's good advice, Cap.
Thank you, sir.
Navy SEALs are some of the baddest dudes. Navy SEALs are some of the baddest dudes I've ever seen.
1% of the people who go in become a fucking Navy SEAL. Yeah. And there are quite a few deaths in the training, usually drowning.
No, it's not 1% passing rate at Buds, though. Like, it's much higher.
No, not it.
It's like
it's 1% of, I think. I know the statistics you're talking about, Kyle. Like, you're like more likely to have a kid graduate from Yale and Harvard than you are to have a SEAL. And then you have like Marcus Luttrell and his brother, who like.
The cold is the part that scares me the most. Like, Taylor, the thing you mentioned where they dunk you in the pool, the documentaries I watch, that's where people struggle a ton. You know, they're wearing goggles. The guy pulls their goggles off and stuff. But that would be cool. That's not a big issue. But the cold, like swimming, and they often wear like full clothes, and then they do the sugar cookie thing. I hate the sugar cookie.
I would hate the sugar.
Yeah.
Honestly, when I watch, that's the worst part to me.
What's the sugar cookie thing?
Really?
It's when
Sugar cookies where you get out of the water and you go play in the sand.
you get wet and sandy.
Yeah. So here's the deal: you wear clothes, and your clothes become sandpaper, and they just sand at your skin. They sand at your skin. So now your skin is red and it's bleeding. That kind of not like a cut bleed, but a slow ooze where the blood just comes out at its own. Yeah, like a bleeding rash of some sort. The trouble is, that's not on the last day. That's on the third day. You've got weeks of this to go where we're just going to sandpaper your bloody wounds for the next couple of weeks to make sure that you have the mental fortitude. That's where I'm like, I don't know. I'd like computer gaming more than this.
Yeah. That looks awful. It looks fucking awful. The guy that I was watching was he was becoming a Navy SEAL. He was a Navy SEAL and he was describing his training. And he had been a collegiate wrestler beforehand, and so he was like, I've been through this and that before. I've been hurt before and had to keep going. And from his point of view, like being a collegiate wrestler really prepared him for that training because there's so much painful stuff and so much.
Absolutely.
But he didn't know how to turn it. He didn't turn it and say, but it was worse than I expected. It was more. He said,
no, he was. I mean, maybe he was just being cocky, but
yeah. So I come up from the other end. I was a collegiate swimmer, so I'm like, oh, the dunking, that's cool. I look at the times. I think there were times you need to do the 200 meters or something in a certain amount of time. Those fucking times are jokes, but sugar cookies no joke, baby. Like everyone's gonna have their own problem with buds.
Yeah, to me, the sugar cookie looked the worst. The cold, I think you just go numb after a while, and it's not even just uncomfortable. The sleeplessness of it would be awful.
The cold, like I view the cold, and like there's a certain amount of toughness, right, that you may or have or not, and then there's another amount of like, well, what if your body just fails you? Like I think I know someone that knows someone who got like medically rejected because of hypothermia. Like they wanted to keep going, and they yanked him and sent him to the ER or whatever it is they sent him to because he was too cold. And he's like, no, I don't want to quit. And they're like, well, you're not going to die. They pulled him out. Yeah, his body failed him, 100%. Not his spirit. And it's like, well, I can't say that won't happen. Carry on.
Some of the stuff I saw him do, it just seemed like, well, if you're a good swimmer, I think you're fine. Like there was this thing where their hands are bound behind their back and they were sent into the bottom of the pool to retrieve their goggles with their mouth. And it's like, looks like something we do as kids to like a competition.
Oh no, I can't do that. My contacts will get cloudy.
We would go for like 30-minute carrying 2 bricks above the water, right? So you just legs only carry bricks above the water above your head.
Would they even let someone with shitty, terrible vision in there?
Probably. I don't think so.
No.
I never see too many Navy SEALs wearing glasses.
No. I do the sand, the sugar cookie, and I just got to quit because my contacts are ruined. That would be my excuse.
That's sand.
As if I make it that far, I'm like hour 3, day 1. So when is the next meal?
I think I'm here by mistake. I don't know what.
I was looking for a Papa John's and I was accosted by who looked official.
The guy I was watching was a black guy, and he didn't know how to swim when he started.
Go on.
He didn't know how to swim, and he was like, "Well, first I spent 3 years learning how to fucking swim," and then they showed him in the pool. And look, I'm certainly not a swimming expert. I'd like to see Woody take a look at this guy's form, but to me, it looked Olympic level. Like he looked so good. Like I don't know, just the way he was like reaching forward with his hand. Like it looked like he had perfect form, or at least a very consistent form. I'll say that. Like every stroke looked identical. He looked like a really good, really strong swimmer by the time he got at the time of the interview.
Nice. Yeah, that's cool.
See, I don't think swimming would have been a problem for me. I honestly just think it would have been the mental aspect of.
Yeah, I think that's what it's all about. Honestly, is like weeding out the people who aren't mentally tough. You know,
Yeah.
it's.
I don't feel like I've ever been mentally tested the way Buds does, right? And maybe a lot of people might like it's almost like I hope I have it. In the same way that your dog, your Labrador, who has never ever shown any aggression, would surely protect the family if it came down to game day, but he fucking wouldn't. He wouldn't. He would love that robber just like he loves you. Right?
Oh, highballs.
I hope that somehow I would rise to the occasion in Buds, even though I've never had to do anything quite like that.
Yeah. But it's fun to imagine, right? I think Louis C.K. is the one from one of his really old specials had the joke where he's like, you know, I sit in first class and all the time a serviceman will walk by me and I always think about going, sir, thank you for your service. Take my seat. And I get so high off the idea of doing it that I don't need to do it. You know what I mean? Like,